So in previous class, we have discussed the constructor and we have seen different types of constructor. Constructors are mainly two types. One is your uh, without any parameter and second one is with parameter. And constructor name is equal to the class name and there is no return type of the constructor and the default access specifier is there, that is public. If you will not mention, then also it will be treated as public. So today we'll see here, before proceeding to next step, we'll see here some common constructor box. Means normally people are doing some box when they are writing the constructor, defining the constructor. See here in this example. So suppose uh, the class name is your point and the constructor name also point, but in the class there are two data members x, y. In the class there are two data members x, y. Again, inside the constructor, here it is written int x equal to initial x. Means this initial x will be assigned to x, but this x is not the member x because again it is created here using a data type. Okay, so this is your local, this is treated as local variable. So here this is treated as local variable instead of member variable, member data member. It is using like xy local. So that means if here when this constructor will execute, it will not actually initialize the xy data member. It will not initialize. It is creating two member variables, two variables locally, and assign the values, and it is not changing or initializing the actual data members. So here it says that this declares local variable with the same name as the fields, as the data members, rather than storing value into the fields. The field remain zero. Remain zero because when the object is created, automatically the data members will be initialized to zero. So here zero is there. It will not initialize by these values because these are two local variables, not the data members. So another bug is sometimes we are writing, and we have seen in the last class. So if you write the return type, suppose here void is written here. So when you write a return type in the constructor, then it is not treated as constructor. It is treated as simple a method inside the class. It is a method inside the class. So to call the method, we will use the object dot method name. So here from yesterday also we learned that a method name may be equal to your class name. If there is no return type, then it is a constructor. If there is a return type, then it is simple method. Okay. So these two types of box commonly people are doing when they are developing the program. Next come to here that is just see here inside the main function. Here here is an example. P1, P2 are two objects created, and when this 5 and 2 pass to the constructor to initialize the point object. Okay, point is a class already. Just we can see again. See the constructor example here. Class point is there. XY are two data members, and here it is initializing the XY. Okay, and there is a translate function another translate function is there, which receives dx and dy and assign add dx to x and y with dy and replace with the y value. So these are two, here this is your constructor, this is your method. So this point class here it is used uh, inside the main function 5 and 2 assign. Now so in this program we have here it is defined two constructors. One is your this one and another is this one. Okay, so see here these two constructors are the signature are different. Here in this constructor there is no parameter. In this constructor there is two parameters receiving. Okay, so when multiple constructors are having inside a class, then that is called multi-constructors in the class. So and when in Java, in object-oriented programming language, you can define a member function or constructors having same name but different types of signatures. You know signature? Signature means the type of parameter, number of parameters, type of parameter, return type. If it is different from one to one and name is same, then that is called different same name having different types of processes, and that concept is called overloading. Function overloading. Function overloading means, or you can say method overloading means, the multiple functions or methods which are having different types of signature and different types of process, but name is same. So you can note down, uh, function overloading or method overloading means, function overloading or method overloading means more than one function having same name with different signature within parentheses you can write signature means return type and parameter types and number of parameters. Parenthesis close. Okay, you can close the bracket. So with different signature, then that is called function overloading or method overloading or method overloading. So continue the writing. When two constructor having different signature then that is called constructor overloading.
So can you repeat it again?
When two constructors or more than one constructors, inside a class, when more than one constructor inside a class define with different signatures, then we can say constructor overloading. Constructor overloading. Okay, now let us see here another. I will define another constructor. Another constructor here. Okay, so here one constructor with no parameters, another constructor with two parameters. One is string, another is integer. Third constructor is single one integer parameter. Okay, so here there are three constructors having the same name, that is your class name, and the number of parameters and the type of parameters are different. Then that is called constructor overloading. So here we will see that in the class here just see here st1 comma st2 comma st3. So three objects I am going to create. Now st1 equal to new student, that is which constructor will be called here? It calls the constructor without any parameter. Means st1 will be created and default constructor will be created, and automatically here this default constructor will show constructor called. Okay, so then automatically the values roll number name will be set to null and 0 and null. Okay, now we will see st2 dot st2 equal to new student bracket suppose 10. Okay, so here see there are three constructors we have written. Which constructor will be called here? First, second, third. The constructor which is receiving the only integer value, that constructor will be called here. Okay, so that here it calls the third constructor. Okay, next we will see st3 equal to new student within parenthesis. What is the sequence of this? One string and integer. Okay, so here the second constructor will be called. Okay, so depend upon the object creation process. Here it will call the first parameter, which is first constructor, which is not receiving anything. Here it is called the third constructor, which receives one integer. Here it calls the second constructor in this program, which receives one string and another integer in this sequence. Okay, suppose now here I will try to print all the things. st1 dot output, st2 dot output, st3 dot output. Okay, three outputs I am going to show. So output will be here. What will be the output? Here what will be the output?
Null 0.
Null and 0. Okay. In the output it prints the name null and 0. Okay. Then here
10.
Only 10. Null and 10. Okay. First value is automatically initialized to null and the roll number will be 10. Now here this one will be Ramesh 3. Okay. Now let us compile this program and execute programming test class. Okay. In the first default constructor, there is a message return constructor called, and here null 0, null 10, Ramesh 3. Okay. So this will be the output. Now, here I will create another object, student st4. Suppose I will write student st4 equal to new student within parentheses. Suppose Sriman. Now tell me, what is there any problem here?
No.
Okay, so there is no constructor is defined in this class to receive a string. So here compilation error will be there. Okay, now let us see whether compilation error is coming or not. Here incompatible type string cannot be converted to int. There is a function constructor is written to receive integer. Single parameter is there, but there is no compatible type function constructor is there. Okay, so that's why it is not receiving. Got it? So we cannot, as per the signature only, we can pass the argument to the constructor. So here we have seen there are different types of constructors you can define inside a class, and depend upon the parameters you are passing, that respective constructor will be called. Now we will see another concept. Let us go to PPT. Okay, here you see there is a concept. Okay, directly we will check in the program. Just see here in this program. Okay, here if I write uh, uh, that system dot out dot println value of st1 equal to plus st1. Okay, so here till now we have seen, suppose name plus name, roll number plus name. Okay, now here we will see, suppose this line. Okay, system.out.println value of st1 plus st1. Okay, so st1 is what? st1 is one object. Okay, so here these are the predefined things, data types we have already defined, and that we can use here. Now here user defined object is there, user defined data type object is there. So what it will print? Okay, let us see this program first. So there is no error. Now we will see what is the output. Just see here this line, value of st1 equal to student at this. The meaning of this is it is printing the memory location address of the st1 object. Instead of printing the data, it is just showing the memory location value. Okay, it is showing the memory location. That means we cannot print an object directly using our the object inside the println function. Now here there is a method in Java. All of you listen carefully. There is a method in Java that is called toString. ToString method in Java class. If you define it, it automatically calls this method when you are using the object in the println. Only the object without any data members. If you use it, it calls the toString function, toString method. Okay, so toString method. Now here we have not defined the toString method. I have made it comment line. Okay, so when it is not defined, automatically it prints the class name at memory location. Note down, all of you note down, when you are going to print the object value of object, when you are going to print the value of object using the object name, instead of printing the content of the object, it prints like class name at the rate memory address, For example, student at the rate, suppose you write this one, student at the rate 6D06D69C. Okay. Now see, so here we can, you note down, we can redefine, remove it. So there is a inbuilt function, there is a inbuilt method, which is automatically used, which is automatically used that is toString. Note down, toString. T is small letter, O is small letter, S is capital, TRING, toString. Which prints the memory address. Okay, so you can note down, you can redefine it. Inside the class. inside the class, and return a value and return a value which you are going to print when you will print the object, So you write this example. For example, this public string, toString, this is, and call it as return this one. That means this one will be returned. Here return type is string. So one string is returning to the calling location where you are referring the object. So note down this, just this block, these 3 lines. So now let us execute this program, compile and execute. Okay. So previously it has printed this thing. Now what it exactly will print, we'll see. What happened? We have not saved the program. Okay. So previously it is printing student data this. Now it is printing the value. Now because of there is no data in ST1, so it prints null and 0. Okay. So if I print ST2 here, suppose ST3, if I print ST3, then it prints the ST3 data. Okay, so this is about toString function, and remember this toString function is like this. So public and return type is string, and there is a toString. So if you will not define, automatically it is treated as accessing and giving the class name as well as the address name. If you define it, it prints the what exactly you are returning. Okay. So next we'll see the next topic is in the class, that is static data member. First we'll see that static data member. Okay. In static data member means that data member can be accessible, or it is shared by all the objects. Okay. Suppose there are 2 objects A and B. Suppose see here, there is a class A. Here Y is a data member and X underscore is another data member. A class having Y data member and X underscore is another data member. But here this is public int Y, another is public static int X underscore. Okay. So here Y is initialized with 0 and this X underscore is initialized with 1. Okay. So the difference between these 2 data members is this is your non-static, this is your static. So that means this can be said by the objects, whatever the classes objects created from this class. Now see here outside the means inside the main function, suppose it is written A A is the class name, and here A is the object name or reference name, equal to new A. Then A, B is the object, new A. So here A, B are two objects of type A. Okay. So now see here in this memory allocation, A having one memory, B having another memory. Here A, the X, Y value is initialized with 0 for A, Y value is initialized with 0 for B. But X underscore is another object, another member which is shared by A and B. So this is separate memory location. So this is reserving separate memory location which can be shared by multiple objects who are the data objects of same class. Okay. So here this is the memory representation of two classes. It's two objects A and B, and here this is a common static data member object, data member accessing. Now system.out println b underscore x. Here it will print 1. Here it will print 1. So a dot x underscore equal to 5. So x value, it is in this one will be changed to, this one will be changed to 5. Okay. So this one said location is changed to 5. And how I have changed? I have changed through a dot. Okay. So here class A, object B are having its own data member Y, but X underscore is the common data member which is shared by A and B. Now B dot X will print 1. Here I have changed the value through A object, but because of it is common, now if I print through B, then it will print 5. Then A capital A, that is your class name dot X underscore equal to 10. So here this static data member here accessed through the object, here static member is accessed through the class. So a static data member can be accessible through the class also. Okay. So next when we are going to print b dot x, it will print 10. So then that means the static data member is shareable by all the objects which are created from that class. Okay. Just see here, all of you see in the default constructor. In the default constructor, I have written in the class, I have defined a data member count and initialized to 0 at the time of declaration. Now here in the constructor, default constructor, in the non-parameterized constructor, I am trying to print the count value. And count value, what it will print? So you think and note down this, what it will print. Okay. You will say to whom I will ask, you will give the answer. Next, after printing the count value, it increases by 1. Okay. So this is the thing what I have done here. The line number 7 here, I have created a count variable and it is initialized to 0. Then I am trying to print it. Now here, here when so I am removing these lines. I am removing these lines. st2 dot st2 equal to new student, again parenthesis, st3 equal to new student, parenthesis start end. Okay. So how many objects created? There are 3 objects we have created. Okay. Any? Sorry. Now I am going to print here st1 dot output, st2 dot output, st3 dot output. Okay. This is the output. Here constructor called, count is 0. Constructor called, count is 0. Constructor called, count is 0. Just again I am repeating here. Now here I am making this count variable a static variable. Okay, and assign 1. Now what changes it is done, we will see. The if when this this is not static, it was printing. Suppose now I am changed it to 1, it prints only 1 1 1. Okay, again we will see, compile again. It is printing 1 1 1. So now I make it static. Now I make it static. Just see, I make it static and 1. Okay, and see what is the result. One, two, three. Okay, so it means that, just see here, in this program, because we make it static, so here count is not its own data member. Here these are not there. Okay, so here count is something else. Okay, count is a memory used for a class. The class name is here student. So student class having a count variable, and at the beginning it is initialized with 1. Through first call constructor, it is printing the value, count value. So it prints the 1, then increase by 1. So it is 2. Next it is printing the count value 2 and increase by 1. Now it is 3. Okay. So due to that, so this when we print it, it prints the 1 2 3. When we will create the multiple objects of same class, and this static data member will be shared by all the objects. So if one object modify the static member, then it will reflect to all other objects which are already created. Okay, because it is shared or common for all the objects. This static data member we have discussed today, which is commonly shared by all the objects. Okay. Tomorrow we will discuss static member function. Static member function. Not tomorrow. Okay. Tomorrow we will discuss the static member function. On next class we will discuss the static member function and how it will be. And already you know main function is a static function. Before main we are writing static. Okay, before main we are writing static. Why we are writing static? Tomorrow we will understand this thing. Okay.